A woman runs for her life as she gets chased by a warrior insists they are actually related. Dasha is informed of the commotion. The people want causes all the villagers and compensates them for their losses. Suddenly awakens its true powers and charges at him. But then a mysterious man appears, grabbing the beast. He demands compensation from the man, but the man gets looking for his brother Mo Taiyi, but Xiaoyu pretends to be a part of the Mo clan. When Xiaoyu comes home for her medicine, later, he tells Sasha about a letter into a projector-like device. His brother is gone. As Xiaoyu lies down to sleep, we chat about the Qin dynasty. So she quickly gets ready. In the original timeline, a soldier comes to take Sasha away to accept this and chases after them. He pounces upon Sasha begs the captain for mercy, and Xiaoyu, from a mountain top, the mysterious man and his uncle is being treated brutally and forced to work for the Qin Empire. Successfully refined his longevity elixir. The elixir is a fake, and he orders for a brutal killing. Xiaoyu and Sasha are brought into the palace, and Xiaoyu to release his family, but the king tells him he will have it. Sasha accepts her fate, but Xiaoyu knocks her out after he takes the elixir. We jump back to Shin and looks at the helmet, its eyes flash, and Ling disappears to the armor, introducing himself as Kirin, and tries to escape, but finds Ling knocked out, destroying statues, while Shin runs away. But that's when Xiaoyu suddenly awakens, grabbing terrified and begs him to stay away. Kirin jumping at him with his magic, but Xiaoyu is able to withstand. Shin tries to distance herself from Xiaoyu, but he believes that Xiaoyu is actually her uncle. Once they are to the crowd, Xiaoyu chases after her and begs. This only leads to another visit to the cops, and this she doesn't like that her dad has sent help for her. Meanwhile, this turns out to be a big mistake, as Xiaoyu beats all of them up. Xiaoyu shows off his magic, much to everyone. When he finally meets Shin, he falls into her arms, and finally finds her inside the bathroom, but it leads to an awkward and she isn't Sasha, and Xiaoyu says he will not bother her anymore, and they go their separate ways. Shin goes to work as an off some assassins, but things get tricky when the safety rope, and she tries to explain that it is all fake. The door has been averted. Shin decides that she will help Xiaoyu. Suddenly, Xiaoyu senses Shin in danger and some of his fire magic. The blast kills the rats. Kirin shows up once more to ridicule her. He has his mugs past the cops and eventually makes his way to Shin. However, Xiaoyu gets bored and immediately knocks down his in order to combat Xiaoyu. The monkey uses his fist and strikes the monkey one hit after another in an intense advantage. He then unleashes an army of rats by his flute is suddenly destroyed as Xiaoyu learns about Kirin and his sinister plans. Shin watches the news on her phone, and Xiaoyu interrupts. Xiaoyu thinks back to the events of the previous night, about this, and he accidentally walks in on a girl named Ari. Goes to the director. He is busy with the lead actress named Sister. Offers the role of lead actress to Shin and takes her to meet. He tries to express his innocence to a new Bud's eyes shine with excitement. Shin is convinced by Hong. Shin is absolutely against this. Ari brings Sue her costume but ends up dropping and grabs his hand, thus awakening her father's alert to take his punch, and it impresses him, who also is Ari, who is being harassed by some goons. It turns Xiaoyu steps in at the right time and ridicules the men. She bumps into a seemingly kind man who takes her out to dinner, actually the mafia boss. He tries to have his way with her to end it all, but then a mysterious force holds her mid-air everything she desires, and then the failed actress broken Kirin out of prison and brings him along to meet their boss as he believes that there are tons of treasures to be had present. Hong breaks up the couple once again but is envious night. However, he doesn't recognize her as she. Damien shows up and tries to flirt with Ari, arrives and shamelessly takes the check away. He claims interesting when Hong's horse completely wrecks Damien's car. Sarah. As Shin goes through her script, Xiaoyu to see the ancient warrior in front of him. However, a meteor fell in the village, and the king saw it as a bad omen. Taiyi is by his side, and glad to see they open the tomb. They are attacked by a horde of undead zombie form of a phoenix bursts out. The men see this as loved ones are dead and gone. Ling motivates him to actual war. When they have a break, Ari tries to chat. However, Hong shows up and shoos him away. Hong mentions that the treasure hunter company has gotten involved. The tables when he mentions Han's son who went missing, with Hong for humiliating him. That's when one of his subordinates will find him. But she does manage to find some notes. Shin visits the tomb at night and is given a brief send to Ling, who is carrying information on Xiaoyu, and she demands. Xiaoyu searches the tomb and comes across a mark. Ari gets a call from Damien, and he tells her to come back. She is shocked to learn that Xiaoyu is the key to finding her miss. She doesn't believe him. They are interrupted as an assassin lands a few impressive blows at first, but his dominance. As they continue to fight, Shin thinks of her Meanwhile, Xiaoyu continues to analyze the tomb and introduces himself as Li. He chats with Xiaoyu to explore other areas. Suddenly, we are equipment. The director threatens to call the cops, but spills everything he knows, including Xiaoyu being an ancient of Xiaoyu. But Ari eventually loses her temper and Xiaoyu as she searches for him. She panics as she's platform. Xiaoyu is surrounded by zodiac symbols. Grabs Shin, telling her it's dangerous, but she is mad he could have his men protect her. Suddenly, Ling is in another cheerful fashion. Kieran is visibly annoyed. Comments that Xiaoyu must have found the treasure. Kieran on the pillar. He finds an opening that matches the amulet is in, but the man suddenly transforms into a giant werewolf that run by, and Xiaoyu sees the mysterious light, and as Ari and Damien look toward it, they are all in, welcoming some noble guests to his humble abode. Back in the real world, the director is considered to be the culprit. Finds herself being cheered on by soldiers, as she is an intruder at first, but then one of the guests seems to be his advisor. They don't trust Lu Jin, thinking he wants. Xiaoyu notices him to be the mysterious man. They are glad to find each other, but are both still confused. The event where Lu Jin is killed. Shin is called to, but Shin ends up smacking him down for being weird. Suddenly, the lights start to flash and they are Lu Jin. Lu Jin proposes a marriage between them. Happy to find each other, much to Lu Jin's confusion, punished for talking, and tries to use his magic power. Shin tries to suggest resolving things peacefully, communicate with Xiaoyu from across the room, but he doesn't quite get to communicate with Xiaoyu about the plot to kill Lu Jin. However, Hong also shows up and loses his and Xiaoyu saves Lu Jin. But this sudden turn of events now brought to the present world where Ling is trying to figure out a time loop that restarts every time Lu Jin is murdered. Find one time where Lu Jin is played by Hong. Amulet into the pillar, and they think that might be the key to escape. He is Lu Jin. Hong cries with joy, seeing how general, much to their relief. The next day, Xiao won't be enough to save Hong. Xiaoyu is desperate and fights with the werewolf in an exhibition match. Xiao's shield, and Li approaches and gives Xiaoyu a signal. Surround Hong. Things are looking bad, but Shin arrives and try to escape, but the soldiers block the gate. He's in the way, sacrificing himself. But it goes right. Xiaoyu is taken to a mysterious area where he watches his brother meet with Zong. His brother Xiaoyu is then transported to witness a horrific sight. Zong requests that he make him the ultimate armor, which we see. Xiaoyu finds himself on a battlefield as one of them, but Li convinces them that they need to work together to suggest to Lu Jin to launch a 5-way attack on Li, and he sees a giant tower, which the General Sith is playing the role of General Han. This is bad news to stay in this world, and will hand her over to Zong to charge at him. They are taken by surprise, but the tower is damaged and begins to fall. Zong and Xiaoyu sees her, but Shin gets caught by Zong. Damien still doesn't want to help them, but offers him anything, as long as he can help save. Back in the other world, Zong recognizes Shin and the others to launch an attack on Zong from all sides. Ends up being a trap set by Lu Jin, who sends another. Zong joins the battle with Shin, saying that he is looking for Xiao. There is no one who can stand up to him, and he comes blown away. The werewolf tries to stop him by more, so he rushes at Zong to save Shin. Shin's above, and tries to fire his bow at Zong, but Zong is distracted by the clone. Xiaoyu manages to rescue. It barely misses them, but causes an explosion. The worst is yet to come. The spear transports Xiaoyu. Xiaoyu's brother grew to fear him, and when he creates an amulet, which he believes is the key for him to escape, Xiaoyu keeps trying, but he is no match. In a flashback, we see Sasha, who takes but Zong catches it and stabs Xiaoyu with the arrow. Zong can see the modern world. Pillars begin to emerge in the real world. The sky begins to move, and a surprised Xiaoyu has risen once again, and Xiaoyu zones instead. Xiaoyu keeps dodging the attack. All the other heroes arrive and start breaking the Jade Stone. Destroyed, Zong loses his cool, summoning. Zong uses the Jades to move around the battlefield between them, while Shin and the others make a run for connection to the real world begins to weaken as Zong's consciousness. After that, he tries to kill Shin, but Xiaoyu the world starts to crumble, and Shin tries to help Xiaoyu from her. Xiaoyu realizes something is wrong with her. I hope you enjoyed the video. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you